Time to time, in a line, a figure gets overlooked because they're not the right size class. Or sometimes they get overlooked because they're a bit of a different incarnation than what we're used to seeing on screen. And then sometimes you have somebody like this who's both. We're going to take a look at the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Deluxe Class Dreadwing in the latest GotBot True review. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. Please check out Machinery Men, the Everything Factor. Have a look at Universal Collision. And for me, everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. And yeah, where do we begin with this guy? Okay, so Dreadwing did appear in the Transformers Prime, series. And he did get a Voyager class toy, which I think most people generally recognize as accurate for his size, because he was sort of a big, strong, powerful bruiser type of guy. And later on in the Beast Hunters subline, we got a deluxe version of that character, who, oddly enough, by then had been destroyed basically by Megatron. No spoilers intended, but by now it probably doesn't quite count as a spoiler. I certainly hope not. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. We got this guy. He's a deluxe, and when I saw him, I was strangely drawn to him because I thought he looked so weird yet so cool and so different that I kind of couldn't resist picking him up. I had resisted the Voyager, but I couldn't resist this guy. So we'll measure him. And I'll get the set up and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. We'll measure him as we always do. For the record, he didn't look like this on camera at all. Not at all. This is kind of a mix between a plane and a bird, I suppose. Because he didn't look like this at all, you can barely tell that it's Dreadwing, though I see the inspiration. His paint apps are going to get about a 2. As far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much a different character, just given the name. Not because they're bad, because I think it's really interesting. I especially love the marbling texture back here and the Decepticon symbols on his wings. I think it looks glorious. Just for being nice, I would score his paint at like a good 8.5. I think it looks so cool. I like the interplay of the yellows and the reds and the grays and the blues. There's even purple. There's so many colors. But for accuracy, he only gets a 2. Articulation. Well, he's a fine, plain bird thing. In this mode, the head doesn't really move very much. A little bit left and right. Not much up or down. I mean, you can go up, but you're kind of bringing his chest out to do it. These shoulder pad pieces, they can move well up out of the way, so you can get the arms way out to here. You can get them going all the way up. A 90-degree elbow, bicep swivel, nothing at the hands. Of course, if you keep these down, well, they'll still kind of move with the arm, but I don't even know if I call it a hindrance, because they do seem to move just fine with the arm. Okay, so there you go. His little cape type of thingy works well. No waist, unfortunately. Legs, they can go all the way out to the side, full splits. Forward that far, back not too far because of the, I guess, rear wing assembly. So only a little bit back. He does get a nice 90-degree knee. There is a thigh swivel, and his feet are on ball joints, so you do get some tilt out. You do get some tilt in, forward, and up a bit. So Now that being said, his feet are strange. They kind of look like chicken feet, I guess. I guess that's what they are, chicken feet. But nevertheless, it's pretty effective articulation for the most part. I can pretty much do what I want with the guy. He stands quite well because his feet will always move around, but the ball joints on his ankles are a little bit loose. Nothing you couldn't fix with floor polish if you really wanted to. I haven't even seen the need to really do that much. But he, you know, I can largely do whatever I want with him. So because of that, I'm going to give his articulation a strong 9. So we have a 2 for accuracy, and we have a 9. This guy right now is scoring about a 6, roughly. We're going to get into his transformation shortly. If you're wondering just how big he is, well, here he is with a more modern day deluxe, that being Twinferno from the Titans Return line. I looked at him in episode 224 in full. He's interesting. Not without his flaws, but interesting. That being said, before I jump into transformation for Dreadwing, we're going to look at his accessories. He comes with this. And this is actually 2 things. First, we have this piece. I have no idea what it is. I guess it's an axe thing. He can hold it in his hand, down this way, or up this way, whichever you prefer. And he holds it well, to be honest with you. Then he also comes with this thing, and 2 missiles. I don't really get that. He can fire this one because there's a little trigger up here where my thumb is. The other one he can't really fire. It just sort of stores there. So I don't particularly get that. I don't know if there's a way to wrap his hand in around this section. I've tried. I've never really quite been successful. Same with right here. I've tried and I've never been quite successful. But I feel like I've seen pictures where it's done. So I'm not... You can try it. You can try it. Maybe you would luck out where I have not. Personally, I tend to use the handle down here and the inexplicable hole on this to put these 2 pieces together like this most of the time. And then I kind of put the whole thing usually in his hand as like a staff, you know, a powerful staff, I guess. It can store on his back if you're so inclined. You can take that piece off. You can store this on his back, probably a little crossways, and you can then put this in his hand. So you do have several options for storage. Okay, I really don't know what else to say to it other than that. It's weird accessories, not bad, and it's cool that you got options, but they're strange. So taking those off for now. He does have one other piece of articulation that I don't understand, but it looks cool. His wings, probably trying to mimic feathers, can all split apart. Officially, they're kind of supposed to be apart, and you can fan them out. And same over here, you can fan them out. And he can have like this look going on, which I think looks really, really cool. I don't think it's particularly useful articulation, but it's there and it does look cool, and it does kind of add to that beast-like form. So I can appreciate it for what it is. Again, like I said, this guy doesn't really remind me of Dreadwing. He seems like a different character. For transformation, of course, these should be collapsed. It's up to you in robot mode if you like this look more or if you like leaving them collapsed. Anyway, I tend to just leave them. They notching, there's a little ridge here and a little hole, a little ridge here and a little hole, little ridge here and hole, and all of these just go down, you know, one over the other and tab back in to form his wings. They're not really a soft rubbery plastic, but they're kind of a soft rubbery plastic. They're a hard plastic that has a little bit of pliability. It's like they're just teetering on being a soft rubbery plastic. They feel like a soft rubbery plastic, but that's not the indication that I get from fiddling with this guy. Okay, so transformation. Let's get into it. Where do we begin? Well, you can put those feet down, point them down like that, and you can bring the whole head section up over like this. Ooh. And it just tabs in. You might want to bring down the landing gear. That's the two easiest parts done. Next, you can bring up these shoulder pieces and detach the whole body, and it accordions out on this gray hinge. You can detach the whole body and it accordions out on this gray hinge in here. You can probably see that. Let's back this up a little bit because this guy's getting to be sort of big here now. You take the shoulder pieces and you bring them up and in. And they kind of naturally will fit in here anyway, to be honest with you. And that's the front of the plane done. Come to the arms. You fold out the forearm, and there's a purple hinge inside. You collapse the purple hinge up and bring the forearm basically up to the shoulder. Same over here. You hinge it out and bring the whole thing up. Now, there is a little tab on the back of the arm. It's a peculiar shape. It's like a it's like a rectangle on a squish. I can't remember what the name of the form actually is right now. It's not a trapezoid. A rhombus. I'm not sure. I'm not dealing with math every single day. But there's that same shape right here on the first yellow section of the wing. And you can take this arm and tab it in there, and take this arm and tab it in. So now the arms are tabbed in. And you can see that the top of the plane is, well, done. What do you do with all of this hanging away? This is where it gets sort of interesting and I guess a tad tricky. You flip the whole body back. Back? Yeah, you flip the whole body back and you bring it up while moving the legs down. So the whole body, we unhinged it, accordioned it out, flipped it around, and brought it back up. Then the legs will come down toward the back. Now, here's the tricky part. On the leg, let's see if I can show this. Okay, on the inner chest, I guess we'll say, we have a little tab there. See if I can show this up close. A little tab there and a little tab over there. On the legs, we have a little rectangular slot behind the knee and a little rectangular slot behind the knee. Ideally, these legs should come down and go over those tabs, but seeing to do it is quite challenging. So it's hit or miss if it will happen. Although I think I lucked out with one there. There you go. I lucked out with two. And in the end, boom, there you have Dreadwing. In his vehicle mode. It's kind of a jet bird type of thing. I like it. It's different. That's for sure and certain. It's definitely different. But I sort of dig how it turned out. Now, what about weapon storage? Well, that's not the strongest. You still have that hole in the, top, so you can take that piece and put it up there. And for this section, or this other yellow piece, really you can't have the landing gear down. You would have to bring the landing gear up, and then there's a hole in right there, in the blue right there. I don't know if you can see it. Right there. And this can fit down there and be stuck out in the front of him. It's weird storage, that's for sure. It is, but those are weird accessories. The transformation is interesting. It's not hard. Everything tabs in. The only thing that you might have a bit of a pain with is getting these two legs tabbed on. And honestly, a lot of times I folded them up underneath, and really friction has kind of held them in place. For me, the joints are pretty tight on the thighs or the hips for this guy, so he stays well anyway. That might be a case of mileage varies though, so it's up to you. Luckily for me just then, they tabbed in really well and he holds together quite solidly. When I was trying to figure out the instructions for this guy, it eluded me about collapsing the forearms and that there was a little hole and tab to lock them in place. I was a little while trying to figure that out because the instructions weren't clear on it. But once you figure that out, he's kind of fun. I don't really think he's Dreadwing, but he's kind of fun. I'm going to give the transformation also a strong 9. I think it's one of the better transformations. It's just those thighs, because you will have a challenge seeing what you're doing to tab them in, might be a pain now and again. So, that being said, it takes this guy up to about a 7. Maybe a 7.5. It's a pretty good figure. I certainly wouldn't overpay for him. It's a pretty good figure. He's interesting. If you want a version of, Dreadwing from Transformers Prime, probably go with the Voyager one. It's way more accurate. If you're just looking to have a cool Decepticon join your ranks, and you're all right with this highly, highly stylized look, then he's probably a good one to hunt down and get for yourself. Certainly was for me, and at the time I was really looking to kind of fill up my Decepticon ranks a bit because they were sorely lacking next to my Autobot ones. And I really don't regret getting them at all. He's fun, he's cool, he's unique. And that's what I dig about this guy. Anyway, folks, as always, let me know what you think, and I thank you for dropping by and giving me some of your valuable time. And I certainly look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.